as well. The numbers to call are 081 3303879, or you can call 08020933638. Those are the numbers to call. When you do call it, just pick a number from 1 to 15. Each number has you win a bigger amount of airtime as well. Let's take our first call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, welcome to the show. What's your name? What's your name? Number. Question number what?
20.
There's no question number 20. There are 15 numbers, 1 to 15. 14. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, question number 14. How many weeks are equal to 105 days? How many weeks are equal to 105 days? A. 25 weeks. B. 5 weeks. C. 35 weeks. And D. 15 weeks.
15 weeks.
That is correct. Question number 2. How many eyes does a king cobra have? How many eyes does a king cobra have? A. 2. B. 8. C. None. D. 4.
None.
Oh, that is wrong. That is wrong. But thanks for calling. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is
Sheyi, where are you calling me from?
calling from Ringgold.
Sheyi from Ringwood. All right, pick a number.
Number 7.
Question number 7. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready, Sheyi?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, question number 7. What is influenced by the alignment of sun and moon? What is influenced by the alignment of sun and moon? What is influenced by the alignment of sun and moon? A. Stock market. B. Volcanism. C. Snowfall. And D. Tides.
9.
That is correct. Question number 2. What is the national language of Denmark? What is the national language of Denmark? A. English. B. French. C. Dutch. D. Danish.
9.
That is correct. Question number 3. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Which of these is a non-renewable resource? Which of these is a non-renewable resource? A. Sunlight. B. Natural gas. C. Biomass. D. Wind. Wind is not correct, but thanks for calling. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
My name is Manasseh. I'm calling from Yaba.
Manasi from Yaba. All right, pick a number, Manasi.
Number 7.
Question number 7 has been taken. Pick another number.
Number 3.
Question number 3. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, question number 3. What is an item that is illegal to be possessed or traded? What is an item that is illegal to be possessed or traded? A. Pandora. C. Contraband. C. Diatribe. Beg your pardon. Then D. Cataract.
Contraband.
That is correct. Question number 2. Compared to humans, dogs dash. Compared to humans, dogs dash. A. Have fewer teeth. B. Have worse hearing. C. Can see fewer colors. And D. Have more stomachs.
D.
What did you say? B. Oh, B is wrong. B is wrong. But thanks for calling.
I said D.
C. Okay, C is correct.
Yeah.
Number 3. Which city lies on the coast of the Irish Sea? Which city lies on the coast of the Irish Sea? A. Oxford. B. Birmingham. C. Sheffield. D. Liverpool.
Sheffield.
Oh, that is wrong. Well, thanks for calling. Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel, where are you calling me from?
Thank
Daniel from K2. All right, Daniel, pick a number.
you.
Number 10. Okay, are you ready? All right, question number 10. What does metal do when heated? What does metal do when heated? A. Contract. B. Expand. C. Become rigid. And D. Gets colder.
Expand.
What did you say?
Expand.
Expand is correct. Question number 2. Hong Kong is located at the southern coast of dash. Hong Kong is located at the southern coast of dash. A. China. B. Japan. C. Vietnam. And D. Taiwan.
China.
China is correct. Question number 3. Are you ready? That's your winning number.
Yes.
Alright, question number 3. What plant does not belong to the same family as the others? What plant does not belong to the same family as the others? A. Potato. B. Lavender. C. Tomato. D. Eggplant.
Lavender.
Lavender is correct. Well done. Well done. Where's my bell? Let me ring the bell for you. Question number 4. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, question number 4. The disease that ravaged and killed a third of Europe's population in the 14th century is known as dash. The disease that ravaged and killed a third of Europe's population in the 14th century is known as dash. A. The Black Plague. B. Smallpox. C. The White Death. And D. The Bubonic Plague.
Bubonic plague.
That is correct. Question number 5. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, question number 5. Which aircraft flies without an engine? Which aircraft flies without an engine? A. Helicopter. B. Super Jumbo. C. Jetliner. And D. Glider.
Glider.
Glider is correct! Well done, Daniel. Well done. You get your airtime at the end of the show, okay? Alright. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
I'm Ephraim from Yaba.
Ephraim from Yaba. Alright, pick a number, Ephraim.
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, question number 8. What is Nigeria's internet country code? What is Nigeria's internet country code? A. .ni. B. .ng. C. .nr. D. .na.
Okay.
That is correct. Question number 2. How long does it take the mass to complete one revolution? How long does it take the mass to complete one revolution? A. 687. B. 686. C. 689. And D. 678.
A.
What did you say?
A.
A. That is correct. A is 687. Question number 3. Are you ready? That's your winning number.
Yes.
Alright, question number 3. When was Nigeria's currency changed to Naira and Kobo? When was Nigeria's currency changed to Naira and Kobo? A. February 15th, 1972. B. January 1st, 1973. C. May 29th, 1974. And D. June 12th, 1993. B. What is B?
1973.
What did you say?
1973.
That is correct. That is correct. I know. Question number 4. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Alright, question number 4. Which sport keeps track of the score with the words deuce and advantage? Which sport keeps track of the score with the words deuce and advantage? A. Rugby. B. Tennis. C. Hockey. D. Poker. Tennis is correct. Question number 5. Which is a waste product of photosynthesis? Which is a waste product of photosynthesis? A. Oxygen. B. Iron. C. Calcium. D. Helium. Oxygen is correct! Well done, Ephraim. Well done. You got all the questions correctly. You get your airtime at the end of the show, okay? Alright. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
John.
John, where are you calling me from?
Good.
John from Ikorodu. Alright, John, pick a number.
Number 12.
Question number 12. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, let's do this. Question number 12. What is a self-organizing group of individuals or companies that pursue a shared interest? What is a self-organizing group of individuals or companies that pursue a shared interest? A. Synergy. B. Fellows. C. Syndicate. D. Syntony. Syndicate is correct. Question number 2. Which is the most popular city in the world? Which is the most popular city in the world? A. New York. B. Lagos. C. Tokyo. And D. Mexico. Tokyo is correct. Question number 3. That's your winning number. Are you ready? Are you ready, John? Like very, 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 very ready. All right, let's do it. Question number 3. Who is the author of the book, The Rights of Man? Who is the author of the book, The Rights of Man? A. Thomas Jefferson. B. Patrick Henry. C. John Adams. And D. Thomas Paine.
John Adams.
Oh, that is wrong. That is wrong. But thanks for calling. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
My name is Dolapo.
Dolapo, where are you calling me from?
From Abeokuta.
Dolapo from Abeokuta. All right, pick a number.
Number 9.
Question number 9. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, question number 9. Let's do this. The capital of Nigeria is dash. The capital of Nigeria is dash. A. Abuja. B. Asmara. C. Banjul. D. Accra.
Abuja.
Abuja is correct. Question number 2. Why do most airlines retract their landing gear during flight? Why do most airlines retract their landing gear during flight? A. To reduce weight. B. To reduce drag. C. To reduce lift. And D. To avoid flipping over. 5 seconds is over. Thanks for calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Comfort.
Good morning. Kayode, how are you today?
I'm doing good, and you?
Very well. Where are you calling me from this morning?
I'm only fish 2.
Kayode from Omole Face 2. Alright, pick a number, Kayode.
Number 1.
Question number 1. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, question number 1. When was the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center destroyed? When was the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center destroyed? A. 2000. B. 2003. C. 2001. And D. 2002.
2000.
What did he say?
2000.
Oh, that is wrong. That is wrong. But thanks for calling. And that's it for our quiz segment this morning. Time check, it's 10:15. A quick shout out goes to Daniel from Ketu and Ephraim from Yaba. Both of them got 5 questions correctly. So I'm going to send them their airtime immediately after the show. So we're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to meet our guest and then the topic that we have for today. So stick around. I will be back. Good morning. Apologies, the rain.
Also apologies for arriving late. I actually left my house with ample time. It takes like 15 minutes to get here, 18 minutes max.
Where was the traffic?
I think the traffic was with my Uber driver. Who decided to take a longer route. And then apparently the St. Finbar's road is
Yes, under construction,
and
yes.
that's when he chose it.
Yes,
So
wow.
after we got very close, we were diverted and had to go all the way back and took the route I was supposed to have taken.
Really? Sorry.
So how long is the session? Is it a second?
45 minutes. Yes, so we're going back now. We're starting.
960 hash to get started now. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
So fix this place. Just fix it close to him. You can use the sanitizer or something so we can see his face.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up and make a move.
Ekejiuba, right?
Ekejiuba.
Cause the world will never
Ekejiuba.
Eke.
They don't really care what you're going
Ekejiuba.
Ekejiuba.
So you gotta show
Should we just skip that
Can I
part?
tell you this?
Sorry, now what did I do?
No,
Am I the one spoiling
it's
you?
fine. I won't take offense. Just today, I won't take
Wait,
offense.
Gabriel, are you from the side of the
No, don't
side of
let
the
them
country?
say
So
what
you're
you
telling me.
got, 'cause you
His name sounds Zibo.
Where are you from?
Imo State.
No comment anymore. Just do passes and I'm still in your neighbor.
Are you sure? We're on air.
I'm not going on air yet.
Shit.
Studio life, please. Alright. You're welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Full Dream City on Unilag Radio 103.1 FM. Today we are talking balancing the creative and money side of art. Now I have a friend on on my WhatsApp, and he tells me that okay, I love to draw, I do portraits, I sketch people and all of that. I do pencil art. But when people come to me and say, oh, they want me to sketch them or draw them, I go like, okay, whatever you have, give me. And that somebody has given me 1.5 before for a full portrait for 2K, and I can't say no, and I can't refuse the money. So I'm finding it hard to balance these things. You know, when I can't say no to people, it just anything anyway, just because I'm a student, I'm doing by the side and all of that. So we have a lot of other people who fall into that category. You know, they're very good with art, they have the talent, they have the gifts. But when it comes to talking about money, when it comes to the money side or the business of the art itself, they are not so good with that angle. And that's why on the show today we're talking balancing the creative and money side of art. How do you merge your talent and also make money, merging your talent and the money side together, so that at the end of the day you're not just about passion. At least that passion is paying your bills. Yeah? Yes, all of us, we are paying bills now. Okay, so that's why we have someone here in the studio today who's going to help us with all of that. But before then, let me just give like a rundown of who he is. So my guest is a project manager and art administrator with varying interests. He currently runs an alternate, this is where I was going to ask you, an alternate pedagogical art project, The Drill, and consults for Fort Canvas Design Agency. He previously worked with ArtX Collective and Invisible Brothers Trans Africa Organization. He also frequently collaborates with art critic and writer Ekejiuba as part of a two-man curatorial collective, Kaito Collective. My guest is also a web designer. And on the show today, I have Innocent Ekejiuba. I got that right. Just say I got it.
I mean, so far so good.
So far so good, right? You're
So
welcome
far
to
so
the
good.
show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now, listeners at home, if you have questions at any point, you feel you want to ask a question, feel free to call the phone lines 081 33038749, 080 209 These are the numbers to call to be part of the show. You have quite an interesting profile that moves between tech and art. How are you bridging these two things that used to look far apart? They're like two ends of the world. So how are you able to bridge them?
I've always believed that, I've always believed in interdisciplinary fields. I've always believed that no discipline can stand on its own solely. I mean, way back my undergraduate years, I studied English language and I did my final year project in computer programming language. So I've always felt that there's a necessity to understand multiple realities and multiple disciplines in order to forge ahead in one that you choose for yourself.
Okay, so while we were all growing up, art used to be, while I was growing up, let me not generalize, art used to be about pencil, brushes, maybe stage and light at some point, maybe watercolor at some point, So how has that changed in recent years, and what would you say is responsible for this change?
I mean, art has always been big. Art and culture, I've always described art and culture as the soul of every society and every age and era. While tech gives the instruments, art gives the soul of the era. So it's always been a huge deal. It's just that we grew up in communities that didn't prioritize the importance of art. Because if we go all the way back to God knows when, to the Benin Kingdoms, the Oyo Empire, the Ife, all of these times, art was important. They always made art, and that's how the British were able to find something to loot when they came around. I mean, it's just always been important, right?
Yeah.
I think what is happening now is more of a realization, or more of a coming to understanding that we need to speak more to our souls, we need to communicate more through visual mediums, and we need to express ourselves more. And so we find more and more people choosing to go the paths of art than we're allowed to before. Because we grew up all learning to be lawyers, doctors, and likes, and now it's okay to say you want to be it's not totally okay yet, but
Exactly.
it's not, but
not totally okay
not.
yet.
But families are coming around to understanding that there is a future in art, and that is a good thing in and of itself.
Okay, but is the old traditional kind of art fading away? When I mean traditional art, the pencil, sketching, eraser, color, all of those things. Because these days you see new careers or new aspects of art coming up. So do you think that part of it is fading away?
Nothing is going to fade away in art. Things will morph, things will adapt. People would choose. I mean, art has always been so dynamic where different artists are able to use what medium they like. What changes the conversations they're having over time, but tools have always been adapted to suit whatever story they want to tell. Pencil art is always going to be there, even with the age, with the advent of digital art. There is always still going to be that. I know amazing artists who do hyper realistic works with graphite and charcoal, and at the same time, so I mean, in the space of visual art, it's always a question of what do you want to say and what tool will help you say it the best. And I think that's what influences the tools artists use. I still know artists. I mean, I was on an exhibition last week, and half of the whole installations were just sketches, like literally sketches by the artists, like a whole lot of them with pencil, with pen, sketches on paper, right? So it will always still be relevant. And the good thing with art is, even though I don't think it will happen, but if people stop using pencils and likes to sketch and draw today, it doesn't mean that work is no longer relevant, because in 20, 50 years time, the work will still be relevant to conversations. Yeah.
Okay, so then what's the relationship, or rather, is there a relationship between the traditional kind of art and what we have now? As an artist, must I have an idea of both worlds, the traditional and what we have now, to be good, maybe?
Yeah, so personally, I do not think there's such a thing as traditional art. I think they are just art forms were expressed in different languages and through different medium.
Okay.
And now, while I did not study art in school, I cannot tell you what you need to know in order to in order to do your art. Because I also believe that everyone is an artist. What varies is a language with which we speak, a language with which we communicate our art. So I cannot tell you that, you have to know how to sketch in order to be a good installation artist. You have to know how to paint in order to be a good lens-based artist. I don't think so. However, I also know that you will appreciate your output more if you have a good understanding of multiple forms, multiple mediums, because it makes you know that at any moment you are able to use. There's something I learned from speaking with a certain curator, and it is that an artist is an artist regardless of medium. Regardless of medium. An artist can always move from one medium to the other, so long as the person has that vision. You just find the tool that you need at any time. So you don't necessarily have to learn everything. You just need to know what you want to use.
Okay, there's been this thing on social media, 21st century skills and skills that will be of high demand in 3 years, 5 years, and we see one of those skills on that list is graphics design. Now, coming back home to Nigeria, do you think we have, that's another aspect of art anyway, do you think we have a lot of people or enough people in that field yet?
We can never have enough people in any field. I don't think so. Especially given the continuous brain drain that has been happening in Nigeria over the decades. I do not think it's possible to have enough people, but I think we have amazing works happening in there. And also, I appreciate the fact that you'd notice the design communities in Nigeria are evolving, adapting, and are actually standing toe to toe with any design community anywhere in the world, and it's impressive. Even beyond Africa, you find Nigerian designers, be it graphic products or in any whatever sort of designers, being highly sought after by European companies and American companies, and I think they have hacked something that the rest of the visual art space needs to understand.
Okay, now this other question I'm going to ask you. Someone sent it to me in the course of the week, and it goes, how did he even put it? But let me try to get my thoughts together. He was trying to find out if there are any universities in Nigeria that currently offer graphics design as a course or a discipline. Aside also academic institutions and organizations that are offering these courses, do we have any Nigerian university who I can apply for, the same way I'm applying for accounting, economics, that I can apply for graphics design?
So I can't speak with 100% certainty, but I know that some institutions person should look at Yaba Tech. In fact, I think Yaba Tech specifically actually offers that.
Okay.
I know ABU. Person can look at ABU. Can look at OAU. Most Nigerian universities, you'll be surprised, in the finance department actually offer something related. Like most of them, not all. At least most federal universities that I can speak of, because I have more experience. I know more people from federal universities than private and state universities. But person will be pleasantly surprised that graphic design isn't so difficult to find in the Nigerian university system. Yeah.
If you say so.
No, it really isn't. People will find it strange. Like it actually really isn't so difficult to find in the Nigerian university system, which is impressive actually.
Is it new? Do you think this is new, or has it been there like 5 years, 10 years ago?
So that's the thing I can't say because I'm not really into the academia yet. But I know as of 5 years ago, yes. I don't know for 10 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe, most likely, but 5 years ago, definitely. Because I know someone who did study graphic design from a Nigerian university about 5 years ago.
Okay. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, the numbers to call listeners at home: 081 33038749, 08020933638. Should you have questions or you want to make a comment or shout out to the guest, if you know him, feel free to call any of the phone lines. I'll take the numbers again: 081 33038749, 08020933638. I'll go for this quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our interview with Innocent Ekejiuba. Stick around, I'll be back. Okay, coming back, let's pay some bills.
With star 966 hash easy banking, you can open a Zenith Bank account, purchase airtime and data, make transfers to any bank in Nigeria, pay bills and make POS payments, create a wallet account, and perform other self-service options like PIN and password reset and temporary blockage of your account. Star 966 hash is fast, easy, and convenient. And more importantly, it can be used on any phone type as it requires no data. Dial star 966 hash to get started now. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Okay, we're going back.
You gotta get up.
Are you ready? Yeah, welcome back. It's still Dream City here on New Lag Radio 103.1 FM, and we're still with Innocent Ekejiuba on the topic balancing the creative and money side of art. That's what we're talking about today. So feel free to come in with your questions, comments, 081 33038749, 08020933638. So Innocent, what are the things you would say are integral to the work of an artist?
Survivor.
Okay. Why survival? Why did survival come out first?
I mean, I think it's the most important thing. If you no matter how much you know as an artist, no matter how great or mediocre your art might be, and by the way, I don't really think there's mediocre art. If you can't survive, it doesn't make there's no point. Like literally, if you can't survive long enough to do the work you want to do, you don't have a career, you won't have anything. You'll find either of two things happening. It's either you literally leave the entire creative sector and just go find money somewhere else, or you find yourself begging for money. So that's why I think survival is the most important thing for an artist. The other thing is knowledge. I mean, there can't be enough of it. And since art is the soul of society and it's sort of a mirror of where we are, where we might be heading to, or where we are coming from, as the case may be, you also need to understand what you're speaking about. Because art doesn't exist in a vacuum. Honestly, it has to relate. It has to relate anyway. Let's just put it like that. Because I'm one of those people who believe in art being functional in all its cases. So yeah, I think those are the two most important things from my point of view.
Survival and knowledge.
And knowledge, yeah.
So you've been a project manager and also an art administrator over the years, and it simply means that you've been involved in the business of making money from art. So tell us about that journey. How has that been here in Nigeria?
Okay, so slight edit.
Okay.
I've been involved in the business of trying to bring money into the house. Yeah,
Really?
just slight edit.
Okay, tell us about
because it's an uphill climb, right? It's an unending task. I mean, like I said about survival, you do need some basic things to survive, right? As an artist, regardless of the medium you're working with. If you're working with paint and brushes, you need to buy them. If you're working as a lens-based artist, you need to buy your gear, your softwares, and what have you. And beyond all of this, you still have to eat breakfast. You have to send money home. Maybe you might have plans of meeting someone nice and settling down, or not. Who cares? But the point is, there are responsibilities you have to meet up with. However, we live in a society and economy that considers art to be nothing but charity, which is strange.
Or hobby.
A hobby, which is strange because just the visual art alone, it's globally worth about $60 billion. It's like a $60 billion industry. Just the visual art. Not talking about the entire creative enterprises, like because creative enterprises in Nigeria alone is about 12 billion or thereabouts dollars, right? So you think that more people and more institutions will be open to pouring money into the art space. However, they are not rather. So I function more in the space of trying to ensure that there are more resources coming into the art space, and beyond that art practitioners, and I use art practitioners as a catch-all term for not just artists but other people who work in the art space. Art practitioners are able to understand how to get what they need to survive without selling off their soul, in quotes. Because if you find some artists have been able to strike such a balance where they create some works not because they want to, but because that is what will sell and that is what will bring them money. So they cater to to the public. They cater to the pop culture, exactly. And the more they do that, the further away they get from what they want to do. So my concern is, how can we, one, educate the art practitioner to know the things they need to know. Two, how can we interface and advocate on behalf of the art practitioners with the government, with private enterprises, and with businesses, so as to bring in more money to that space and realize it's not just charity. You don't just donate, you can actually invest. You can be a patron. You can contribute, okay, you know what? This is my loan to you as an artist. This is what I expect in return, right? It's a business also. So how can the artist understand that there is a business there, and how can the society appreciate that this is beyond the hobby? Yeah, so that's kind of where my work
because sometimes I see a lot of artists that I follow online, and they are, sometimes you see the majority of them, they have a charity side. The last person I interviewed one not too long ago, I interviewed a couple of artists, and he told us about his charity side, and I see that trend in a lot of them. So do you think it's because of their inability to really position art as a product that people can pay for, that they decide to probably now have charity side?
I think it's mostly from the government not really caring. So we have a Minister of Arts and Culture, right? But guess what else is attached to that ministry? Information.
You tell us that.
So it's Minister of Culture and Information, which means the government sees art as simply a tool of propaganda, which means they won't fund art unless it's saying what they want it to say. And if you are coming from a government that sees you in that sense, you have to find a way to depart entirely from that reasoning, right? And you find charities, in a sense, is a safe bet because charities get money, get donation. People understand charities. Even in a country like Nigeria, where everything art is expected to.
But hold on to that thought. Do you think that people do not understand art?
People do not understand the art economy. They understand that there are artists. They understand there is art. They understand that artists create art, but they somehow, in all of their understanding, don't understand that the artists have to live, have to eat. and hence the economy of the arts need to fund the artist in a way that the artist is able to stay true to their vision and their art. So there seems to be that disconnect with the general society. And when they come to understand art, it will be media-based art like fashion, music, movie making.
Yeah.
That they've come to understand. They want to see their favorite actors on
Yes,
TV. They pay
yes.
for the movies. They pay for Netflix subscription. They want to listen to their favorite artists. They stream their music and what have you. That they understand because that is more pop culture facing, right? But then when it comes to the visual artists, they are like, well, everything is inspiration, isn't it? So, yeah, right. Yeah, so I just made that sound, but that's what it seems like, right? It seems like you live in a community where people see art, they understand humans make them, but they don't understand that the humans need to survive off that art.
Okay, hold on. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Hold on. This is Sonny from the Sono. It is now time for us to learn. Nobody's calling. Only me is calling. Anybody, I was trying to answer the question they put. I could answer the one that Daddy answered all the questions.
Sorry. Oh yeah. Thank you for calling. I will think about it. Okay, do you have a question for my guest?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Now the question is this. There is a point out that when it comes to other shades of art, when it comes to maybe singing, entertainment, movies, people tend to gravitate towards the side. How come that even works of men like Leonardo da Vinci, as in this Mona Lisa, Van Gogh, and all these Renaissance artists, even attract more, as in the world, and you go to the university in France, Paris, they still people want to see that work of the 15th century. How come we don't have such an idea here? The bronze age, Eiffel, all these Eiffel sculptures, Benin sculpture, what have we done to really bring people? Because they are people from inspiration, and I don't know. So that's my question. So for you to be my guest again, think about me so. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all right. So you asked the question.
Yeah, so the answer is going to be a little bit political, so just brace yourself. So first things first, where are the Benin bronze heads?
Well, we learned that.
They have been looted. They were looted, and
I think I saw a news recently that said they were going to return some of them. Not sure of that, but I think I saw that news.
yeah, we've been asking for them to be repatriated for a long time, and there are thousands of Benin bronze heads, and just a handful of them are in display in the British Museum. People do look at them. People do draw inspiration. Damien Hess, an English artist, did an exhibition in 2017, I believe, where one of the work draws extensive. When I mean draws, I'm using that as an euphemism for copy and paste from the Ife Olokun sculpture, right? So Nigerian works, African works beyond Nigerian works are also seen in that light, quotes, but you should also understand that the history of art that is taught is not the African history of art, it's the European history of art, which is problematic. And so long as most people in the world are learning the European history of art, they gravitate towards it. In Nigeria, we are not generally taught history of art, or we're not generally taught art. You only learn art if you want to learn art. And I didn't study art, but I would love to know what you are taught in art history in Nigeria, because I bet you they will teach you about Picasso, Rembrandt, Da Vinci, and all these dead people that I really don't care about, right? They won't teach you about the works, or they might, but there won't be much emphasis on the works of like the Zaire rebels, the works of the Aochi School of Art, the works of the Zaria School of Art, the Edo School of Art, like all these various school of arts that have popped up around the country over time, right? They won't teach you the works of Demas. I don't know how much of the works of Demas you'd learn, but even if they do, and when the conversation goes global, you won't hear about this, right? And then you also find societies outside there that were taught these things, they know these things growing up, and they've come to appreciate it more than we do, right? Because we still don't know. Like, you could literally, here's a quiz question for your next quiz segment. Ask them, who is Demas? Demas. they wouldn't know. Okay, mention 2 people from the Zaire Rebels. They wouldn't know. But these are people who were very important to shaping the conversation around what art is in Nigeria today and even in Africa.
Thank you so much. Thanks to our last caller for that, for bringing up that wonderful question. Now, I was going to ask you, based on the story I told earlier of a friend who really doesn't know how to approach charging for his work, charging people when they, say, do a project for me and all of that. How do you think an artist should go about charging people, especially for young people who are still in university? They just do this thing in their free time and they're very good at it. How should they go about charging or putting a price to the work that they do?
There isn't one way to the market, as I say.
Of course, but let's hear your thoughts.
So I've been doing this series. I've been organizing this series of talks, this series of events with the drill that is specifically focused on this, and we've had like multiple angles from it, from people in investments, people in law and everything.
Yeah.
But then I find what the first speaker said to be one thing. The first speaker said to be very important. First, forgive yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself that you've done work for 1,500 and 2,000. A lot of times when people think about it, it can be quite depressing when you realize the amount of thing put into it. So forgive yourself for being desperate. And it's very important that you do that in order to appreciate yourself. You need to understand the value you're bringing to the society and to these persons who are buying this work. That I think is one and very most important thing. Secondly, so most of the things I'll be saying will be paraphrasing some things that some of the speakers said. I need to say that because I find it to be quite instructive over the last couple of weeks. Secondly, someone said that artists are terrible financial managers. So perhaps I understand the person might not have money to hire a financial manager. Find a friend who understands money better and let the friend speak to you about money or speak for you about money. If you feel like you are unable to take the hard stance and like, yo, this is how much I want to put on my work, I don't care what you say. If you're unable to do that, find a friend who can do that. We'll always have that friend who is a badass, who would say and stick to it. Compensate the friend, because it's also important, but find a friend who is willing and can do that for you. 3, get legal representation. I know it sounds like a big deal, but
it sounded like a big deal compared to a student.
Yes. You find yourself regretting not having it than having it and not using it. It's better, what did I say? It's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Yeah.
Get legal representation, and thankfully from what I just learned last week, there are some law firms in Lagos that are actually willing to give free advice, right? But they might not be able to do litigation for free. But the goal is to make sure nothing gets to litigation.
Yeah.
But at least get legal advice from someone who knows the article of the law, so that you can have the right contracts. So that you can listen. Those sketches he or she is selling, that the person doesn't think is a big deal, could turn out in a couple of years to be a big deal. The person who bought it at 1.5 may decide that, you know what, I like this so much, I want to make stickers out of it. Who has the IP rights for that work and who has the right to reproduce? All of this needs to have been covered in the contract, at least in a document, a legal document. Maybe saying contract may sound big, but at least a legal document saying this work is sold to you under these terms. You're allowed to do this and not this. Believe me, when you at least get those 3 things: 1, forgive yourself for what you've done so far; 2, get someone to manage your finances; and 3, get legal representation. You find yourself being appreciated more, and you find your stock going up, because the name of the game is value. And if you're going to retain your assets and your value, if you're going to build on your value, you have to get support.
Okay, hold on. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
I call back.
Oh, okay.
I called earlier.
All right. Go ahead.
During the conversation. Now, sometimes I think you raised a point which has provoked my question. That,
Okay.
it's easy for them to teach us about all these reniters, and I guess it's because the tactic is better, and that's what they make it look better. Not because they are necessarily better.
So it's just the packaging.
Yeah, sometimes I found prayer about
Yes, we're here.
Yeah, I talked to you about it, and I see most of these artwork, and I feel so because one of my greatest sort of inspiration is artworks. You appreciate the thing when you see great artwork that wow, so the man can do this. So what can we do with Ministry of Art and Culture if they ever exist? So that all these things can be, revenue resourcing avenues for us. That's all my question.
Okay, thank you so much for calling back. Okay, before you take that question, let's go for this quick break, pay some bills, and we'll be back. I'll be back. Stick around.
The answer to that question is very simple.
So what's the answer?
The Minister of Information and Culture
You
is
can
Sulai
open
Mohammed.
Zenith bank account,
That's the
purchase
answer.
airtime and data.
Really? Do you want to say that?
That's what I'm going to say. Like, that's the answer. Go figure. Lai Mohammed is the minister in charge.
Options like
No, no.
What progress do you expect if Lai Mohammed is the minister?
Please, that shall not condemn that Mohammed on the show before they come for my head.
I mean, like, but that's literally it. Like,
I know.
at some point, we have to. Someone said in one of the sessions, one of the facilitators said, that maybe we don't even need government to come in again. Maybe the absence of government in the art space.
But just give it a time, give it a while. When this segment or this sector starts to flourish, like tech is doing now, so it'll come for you
It
guys.
has always been flourishing.
It'll come for you guys. But let's go back. Let's go back and take my question. Yeah, welcome back. This is still Dream City on Unilag Radio 103.1 FM. Yes, our last caller asked a question, so it's time to take that question now.
Okay, so the answer to the question is simple, and just so as not to cause problem for anyone, I would put it like this: the last caller should please go and Google who the minister for arts, for culture and information, or is it information and culture is, and when the person finds the answer, that would literally answer the question. Like, anyone can just Google that, and you realize why nothing more should be expected from that part, at least for the next 2 years. At least.
Okay. I hope that answered your question. Our last.
I know it's a bit cryptic, but
Yes, it is. But let's leave it at that. Okay, so sometimes you find. So we'll talk about the money, how to negotiate. Get someone to negotiate for you and all of that. But sometimes you hear parents, for instance, a young man walks up to his parents and says, "Okay, you know what? I want to do art. I love to paint," and parents will literally go, "No, you can't do that. You just have that as a side thing that you do. You can't do that." How can we begin to change the narrative that, okay, art is actually like a career? You can build a career in art just like every other sector, every other discipline. How can we change that narrative?
time.
Why does it feel like you have a lot to say, but you're trying to?
I do, because even sometimes you find some parents who are progressive enough to allow their children do what they want to do. You find them accepting but not understanding. Right. I was having this interview with a couple of artists some weeks ago, and she was talking about her journey into being a photographer. How she wanted to study medicine and then went on to study engineering and then became an artist. And after her parents hounded her for a while, and then she got her first exhibition and there was money coming in, they were like, oh, maybe there is future in this. And then they let her be. And then after a while, no exhibition, no money coming, they were like, don't you want to rethink this? But that's the story, right? That's the best. Well, that is one of the best case scenarios for people who are not rich enough to afford. I think so. The problem is money grants people some sort of levity, some sort of space to explore. But then there are some people who don't have that resource but have this passion and this drive. And understandably, their parents are worried about their well-being. They're worried that they don't want their children to suffer the way they might have done growing up. So I think what's the best tool to use to make the parents come around is time. Do your work diligently, understand what you're doing, and pursue it as a career, not as a hobby. Now, when I say pursue as a career, I don't mean you can't be doing other things. If you want to moonlight while doing your artwork, you can. But understand that the art is as important as every other thing you do. And when you put in that more diligence into it and follow a couple of steps, focus on the money. Also, don't let the money drive the arts, and that's also an important thing, because if it does, you lose your vision for the arts. I think if you do all of this, Doesn't mean your parents will come around, but but you will be happy with yourself, and that's the most important. So maybe that happiness, that's calmness, that's the fact that you are fine, would be what would make your parents come around. Believe me, you can do all the arts you want in the world, and they won't still come around over the arts.
Why do I think you don't have the typical Nigerian parents? You're telling me when you're fine, your parents that you're fine, they'll come around. Excuse me.
You see, when I said my parents accept what I do, they don't understand what I do.
Okay, that's a different way to look at it.
Exactly, they don't understand. It took them a while to come around. They accept it. Okay, he seems to have his shit together. Pardon my French. But they don't understand it. So from time to time, they ask these questions that I consider annoying because I've answered them, let's see, 6 or 7 times or thereabouts to them. But I understand where it's coming from also. So they have given me some sort of leeway because it seems I know what I'm doing. Keyword being seems for them.
Yeah.
They still haven't accepted that I know what I'm doing. So I do have a typical Nigerian parents. But I think I've also been able to set my foot down at a certain level. I've also been able to show that I do have direction. And that's part of the things that I think bother them. And I know I'm sounding like a devil's advocate speaking on behalf of the parents, but they are bothered that the children don't have direction. But I know art is direction enough, right? And I'm able to make them see the light in that.
Okay, so let's leave all those African parents things now and come back to the other issues. Let's talk positioning. So I'm an artist. I'm a young boy. I'm a young girl. I am very good at what I do. So where are those places I need to be? How do I position myself in such a way that people see me, they know me, they can pick me out and say, okay, come and do this for me. They can give me jobs or opportunities.
Position yourself in your studio. Do the work. So the thing is, there are a lot of ways to get ahead in anything you're doing. But at the end of the day, when you get ahead, what would keep you there is the work you do. If you've done the work and the work speaks for itself, it may take a while, but the work will sustain you. It will keep you there. But important also, get into communities. It's communities are important. There are very horrible communities around also, I must say, but find good communities that sustain and support and get in there. Speak to friends, have conversations, have studio visits with your friends, let creators do studio visits with you. Be online and keep your ears out for when there are fellowship opportunities and likes, because that is also where you tend to meet people who have like minds, who are doing similar work to what you're doing. And the more of these people you do, the more different realities interact with your reality, and it improves your work. It improves your chances of being seen, as you put it, and improves your chances of getting further ahead. But the most important thing with all these chances improved, regardless, chance to see the work. They are going to exhibitions to do what? It's like, oh hi, this collector is here. Oh hi, that collector is here. Like,
but
have you seen
how
the
easy
artist?
is it to get into these galleries or art exhibition centers?
Well, it depends also on the kind of on the medium you're working with, to be honest. But it also depends on the communities.
Thank you so much. I know that there's more you want to say, but
So much.
Let's keep it at that. But thank you so much, Innocent, for coming on the show today. Had a good time talking to you, and to our listeners at home, I hope you enjoyed the show and picked a thing or two from our interview today. So do have a beautiful weekend. It's a rainy Saturday morning. Don't be cold though. There's still COVID outside. Please protect yourself and take responsibility. Do have a beautiful and an amazing weekend. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Hold on, no, don't go yet.
I shouldn't go.
Open a Zenith bank account, purchase airtime and data, make transfers to any bank in Nigeria, pay bills and make POS payments. Create your wallet account and perform other self-service options like PIN and password reset and temporary blockage of your